Glasgow. The nation's biggest city has almost 600,000 people living in its centre. While Greater Glasgow houses over 1 million. A whopping 21% of the population. There's another feature about this city that fascinates me, the Clyde. A little over 100 miles from source to sea, this river's by no means huge, but its influence on Glasgow has been and still is immeasurable. From merchant trading to shipbuilding, it's often been said that Glasgow made the Clyde and the Clyde made Glasgow. In Victorian times, tourism boomed. Holidaying doon the Watter brought towns like Gourock to life. In the Firth of Clyde, the Isle of Cumbrae had a star attraction, the beach at Millport. On Bute, wealthy townies bought holiday homes. These coastal gems hark back to a golden era when all of Glasgow took trips by steamer to escape industrial working life of the late 1800s. Back then, Glasgow was the second city of the empire. By the 20th century, the Clyde housed around 60 shipyards and 11 miles of docks. Looking down at what remains, it's hard to believe that 30,000 ships were built here. Way back when the Clyde was a shipbuilding mecca, there was a description for the vessels she produced. Clyde built, a byword for quality and reliability. Though its heyday has long gone, some of that reputation endures with this, the last remaining contract on the Clyde. And what a contract it is. This £5.8 billion deal includes 6 Type 45 naval destroyers and the part build of 2 aircraft carriers. The workforce here is creating the backbone of the Royal Navy's air defences. These vessels are being built on the docks of what were once the Yarrow and Fairfield shipyards. What's fantastic is the way Glasgow's re-embracing her riverside once more. While shipbuilding continues, across the water, city dwellers are being tempted back to the riverside. And it's all part of the £6 billion master plan to reconnect Glasgow with the Clyde. This 25-year plan is giving the whole waterside a much-needed facelift. Neil Baxter is a city historian who's been keeping a keen eye on the riverside's rejuvenation.
The river is actually having an influence on regeneration for its whole length. It's not simply in the city of Glasgow, which, you know, has always been the major economic focus. The Clyde Arc opened 3 years ago, a fantastically dramatic bridge. And what was interesting about that bridge is it seems to draw together everything around it. So it becomes a beautiful urban scene of real European quality. You've got the financial district in the heart of the city at the Brumilor, where previously you had stevedores unloading ships. Now you've got people going into their rather smart offices. Further down the Clyde at Clydebank, the Titan Crane and new college on that site. You know, fantastic new focus of education. And people are also living back on the river. The new Transport Museum by Zaha Hadid, her architecture is remarkable, and again it celebrates a great aspect of Glasgow's past. It's great historic ships and cars and trains, and you know that all adds to the mix as far as the visitor invitation to the city is concerned.
Like a phoenix rising from the ashes, the riverside is driving Glasgow's vision for the future. From grand master plans to preserving her shipbuilding heritage. But the Clyde has another rich past, her history as a successful trading hub. In 1668, Scotland's first deep-water harbour was built at Port Glasgow, 30 miles downriver from the city centre. Here, tons of tobacco were unloaded from America, making Glasgow's merchants extremely wealthy. Some of that wealth was reinvested in the Clyde. Traditionally a shallow river, it was deepened and straightened. This allowed vast commercial vessels to sail into the heart of the city. By the late 1800s, a newly deepened river with almost 4,000 quays was swamped with ships. Business was thriving, with exports of coal and iron ores, as well as imports from India. One of the most famous cargo ships from that era is the Glenlee, Glasgow's tall ship. Only one of 5 Clyde-built sailing ships still afloat, the Glenlee circumnavigated the globe 4 times. Now she's come full circle, enjoying a well-earned retirement back on the Clyde. But it's not just in this historic ship or the river itself that you can see evidence of Glasgow's success in trading. It marks the entire city. Trading barons built much of Glasgow, and Neil Baxter's going to show me how far their influence stretches. Nearly brought me to this incredible building. What's the story behind